What's up guys, I'm That Audio Chick, and today we're going to be checking out Slate Digital's Blackbird and Classic Tubes 3 mic expansion packs for the VMS ML1 microphone. It's also worth noting that as of this video, Slate Digital is running a promotion until January 31st where you can get both of these expansion packs for $149 or $99 each. So with that said, let's dive into what you can find in these expansion packs and test drive a few of them in the mix. The Blackbird Studio microphones are some of the most sought out microphones in the music industry. Artists like John Mayer, Dolly Parton, Taylor Swift, they've all used them to make the records that we hear today. And with this expansion pack, we get to experience that greatness without breaking the bank. Here are the 5 microphones included in this expansion pack. Blackbird B-47, Blackbird B-12, Blackbird B-49, Blackbird B-67, and Blackbird B-251. So I've gone ahead and created a Pro Tools session, very minimal, just guitar and vocals to keep things simple. I'm also using Slate Digital's lustrous slates on the vocals, and I'm also using the Verve Suite Classics reverb on the guitar. So other than that, there's nothing else going on. I have the virtual mix rack ready to go so that we can test out some of these mics. So let's go ahead and add the Blackbird Studio mic collection and listen to the B-47.
Meet you downstairs at the bar in her your rolled up sleeves and your school t-shirt. He said, why did you do it with him today? And sniff me out like I was Tanqueray.
Awesome, I think this mic sounds pretty well-rounded, pretty balanced in, you know, the highs, the lows, and the mids. It definitely has body to it without sacrificing the detail in the high end. So I'm pretty happy about it. Let's listen to the 251.
Meet you downstairs at the bar in her your rolled up sleeves and your school t-shirt. He said, why did you do it with him today? And sniff me out like I was Tanqueray.
Very, very nice. I think this one also has like that thicker sound to it, but the high end is definitely a little more pronounced than this one. Let's listen to my all-time favorite, the B-67.
Meet you downstairs at the bar in her your rolled up sleeves and your school t-shirt. He said, why did you do it with him today? And sniff me out like I was Tanqueray.
I absolutely love the way that 67 sound, and I think that Slate Digital did a beautiful job at emulating this. You can hear the slightly darker sound, the thicker sound, and the smoothness in the highs with the shimmering top end. It's definitely one of those mics that embraces that tube saturation sound, and I'm all about it. Let's see what this B-12 sounds like.
Meet you downstairs at the bar in her your rolled up sleeves and your school t-shirt. He said, why did you do it with him today? And sniff me out like I was Tanqueray.
The C12 is also a great one. I think that one's also probably in the top 3 for me. It has a super smooth high end and a much flatter low end, which makes it have a little bit less body, but it also helps with making it sit really, really nicely in the mix. Let's move on to this B-49.
Meet you downstairs at the bar in her your rolled up sleeves and your school t-shirt. He said, why did you do it with him today? And sniff me out like I was Tanqueray.
Wow, you can definitely hear the airiness and the depth in the higher end, as well as that hint of thickness that it has in the lower end. It's definitely one of those really, really rich microphones that sound great on any and every kind of vocalist out there. So overall, I think this pack is fantastic. I think you really can't go wrong with any of these mics. And this is without even doing anything else after it. And this was also with the intensity at 100%, which means that this is as close to the original as you can get, but you can also boost this to add more of that character to the mic. So tons of possibilities to be able to fine-tune this microphone and get the most out of it. With that said, let's take a look at the Classic Tubes 3 expansion pack and see what that's about. With the Classic Tubes 3 expansion pack, you get 5 more classic variants of the most beloved studio microphones out there. Included in this pack is the FG-37A, the FG-44, the FG-47 Mark II, the FG-49, and the FG-67 Mark II. So same idea as before, same track, same vocals, but this time we're going to be adding the Classic Tubes collection and taking a look at the expansion part of the pack. Let's start with the FG-44. Now this microphone is typically a ribbon microphone, but Slate Digital actually made a couple of interesting enhancements to it. The first thing that they did was they turned it into a cardioid polar pattern and added a custom tube stage to it to add that saturation and that vintage characteristic to it. So let's take a listen to it.
Meet you downstairs at the bar in her rolled up sleeves in your school t-shirt. He said, why did you do it with him today? And sniff me out like I was Tanqueray.
So really nice mids. I really like the low end as well. It's pretty controlled and there's just enough detail in it that it encompasses that nice vintage sound. The next one that we're going to look at is the 37A. Now this microphone is an emulation of a Japanese classic and it's characterized by the sculpted mid-range that makes it a perfect mic for virtually any vocal style and genre. Let's take a listen.
Meet you downstairs at the bar in her rolled up sleeves in your school t-shirt. He said, why did you do it with him today? And sniff me out like I was Tanqueray.
Lots of body, lots of warmth to it. I'm digging it. The next one is the 47 Mark II. Now this microphone is typically super smooth in the mids and it has a little bit of warmth and thickness in the low mids. This mic is great for vocals, drums, bass amps, you name it. Let's take a listen.
Meet you downstairs at the bar in her rolled up sleeves in your school t-shirt. He said, why did you do it with him today? And sniff me out like I was Tanqueray.
Definitely can hear the presence in that mid-range area and I think it sits really nicely in the mix. The next one we have is the 49. Now this microphone typically has a very rich mid-range and a nice shimmer up top that helps bring out that nice saturation from the tube. So let's take a listen.
Meet you downstairs at the bar in her rolled up sleeves in your school t-shirt. He said, why did you do it with him today? And sniff me out like I was Tanqueray.
I'm really digging the airiness in the high end and the balance that it has with the mids and lows. Definitely a great sounding microphone as well. And then finally we have the 67 Mark II. Now this one is supposed to have a little bit more darkness and depth in the high end without taking away too much of the detail in the mid-range. So let's see what this sounds like.
Meet you downstairs at the bar in her rolled up sleeves in your school t-shirt. He said, why did you do it with him today? And sniff me out like I was Tanqueray.
Really nice mic. Like I've said before, I love 67s. I think they all sound great. This mic really adds a nice warm vintage tone to the vocals, but I could really see it being used for drums, piano, and guitar as well. So there you have it, Blackbird and Classic Tubes 3 mic expansion packs. Don't forget that there's a promotion currently running until January 31st where you can get both of these packs for $149 or one pack for $99. Thank you so much for watching. If you like audio content, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell button so you can be notified when new content comes out. See you later.